They did not scream when the humans started changing. They watched, they recorded, because this was the moment they had been waiting for. A pill designed to test pain was breaking every limit of a human body, bones cracking, skin burning, heart refusing to stop. But then, the humans stopped screaming and smiled. That was the moment the aliens realized they didn't create a survivor. They created something far worse. The station was always cold, not just in temperature, but in feeling. Metal walls with no color, long silent halls, lights that never changed. No day, no night, just work. The aliens who lived there did not believe in comfort. They believed in results. And today, they wanted one answer. How much pain can a human survive? They had studied many species across the galaxy. Some were strong, some were fast, some were intelligent, but humans confuse them. Weak bodies, short lives, easily damaged. And yet, records showed something strange. Humans did not stop, even when injured, even when afraid, even when they should have died. They endured. That made them interesting. So they captured one, not a warrior, not a trained fighter, just a normal human. His name was Ethan. He was taken without warning, without a fight. One moment he was living a simple life. The next moment he was inside a metal room far from Earth. No sky, no sound, no escape. They studied him for days. His breathing, his heartbeat, his reactions, everything was recorded. Ethan did not understand their language at first, but he understood one thing. He was not there to survive. He was there to be tested. The room they used for the experiment was even colder. The walls were covered in devices. Lights blinked slowly. Machines hummed like they were alive. Ethan was placed on a table, his arms locked, his legs restrained, metal cuffs tight against his skin. He tried to move once, just once. The restraints tightened instantly. No pain yet, just control. An alien stepped closer, tall, thin, eyes without emotion. It held something small, a capsule, dark, almost black. Inside it, something moved. Not liquid, not solid, something unnatural. The alien spoke. The voice came from the walls, translated into simple words. Take it, or we begin slowly. Ethan looked at the pill, then at the room, then at the restraints. He understood. Slowly meant worse. Much worse. He had no weapon, no plan, no way out, but he still had a choice. And he made it quickly. He nodded. The alien moved forward, forced the pill into his mouth. No water, no hesitation, just action. Ethan swallowed. For a moment, nothing happened. The machines kept their steady sound. The lights did not change. The aliens continued watching. One of them tilted its head. Another adjusted the readings. This was not expected. The human should have reacted immediately. Pain, shock, something. But Ethan just lay there, breathing normally, eyes open, body still. A few seconds passed. Then more. The aliens began to lose interest. One turned away. Another started recording notes. Failure. That was the word forming in their systems. But then, Ethan's chest rose. Slowly. Too slowly. His breathing changed. Deep, heavy, like each breath carried weight. The machines noticed first. Numbers shifted. Signals became unstable. His heart rate did not increase. It dropped. Lower, lower, but it did not stop. That was the first problem. The second came right after. His body temperature began to rise. Not a little, rapidly. Too fast for a normal reaction. The sensors struggled to keep up. One of the aliens stepped closer again. Curious now, interested. Ethan's fingers twitched, just slightly. Then again, his muscles tightened. Not in panic, not in fear. Something else. Something building. His breathing grew louder. Each inhale pulling air like a storm. Each exhale shaking his chest. The room started to feel different. Heavier, like the air itself was changing. The machines began to glitch. Screens flickered. Numbers overlapped. Warnings appeared and disappeared. The system could not understand what it was seeing. One alien spoke quickly. Another moved to stabilize the readings. But it did not help. Ethan's body was no longer following known patterns. His veins darkened under his skin, faint at first, then spreading, like shadows moving inside him. His jaw tightened, teeth grinding, not in pain, but in resistance, like something inside him was pushing outward, trying to break free. One of the aliens stepped back. Just a step, but it mattered because they did not step back. Ever. Ethan's eyes shifted. Still human, but something was changing, something waking up. His chest rose again, slower this time, but stronger, like each breath made him heavier, more solid, more real. The restraints creaked. A small sound, almost nothing, but in that silent room, it was loud, very loud. The alien closest to him froze, its eyes locked on the restraints, watching, waiting. Ethan did not scream. He did not beg. He did not panic. He endured. And that was the moment everything changed. Because the pill was never meant to create this. It was meant to measure limits, not break them. But now, the machines could not measure him. The data made no sense. The system started rejecting the readings. Error after error. Signal lost. Signal unknown. And still, Ethan breathed. Slow. Heavy, unstoppable. One alien whispered something, not translated, not recorded clearly, but the meaning was felt across the room. This is wrong, very wrong. And for the first time since the experiment began, the aliens were no longer observing. They were unsure, because the human on that table was no longer just a subject. Something inside him had started, something they did not create, something they did not understand. And it was only the beginning. The pain did not rise slowly. It arrived all at once. Like something exploded inside him. Ethan's body jerked against the restraints. Hard, violent, not like fear, not like panic. This was something deeper, something raw. His muscles tightened so fast the metal cuffs groaned. His back arched, his hands curled into fists. Every nerve in his body screamed at the same time. But he did not scream. Not yet. His teeth locked together, his jaw trembling. His breathing broke for a moment, then came back stronger, louder, heavier, like he was forcing himself to stay alive. The aliens leaned forward. All attention returned. Every screen focused on him again. This was no longer a failed test. This was something new, something they had never seen. Ethan's body started shaking. Not small movements, not weakness. This was pressure, like something inside him was pushing outward, trying to escape. His chest rose and fell in sharp waves, each breath harder than the last. The machine struggled to keep up, signals spiking, dropping, spiking again. His heart rate climbed, then dropped, then climbed again, but it never stopped. That was the strange part. It should have stopped. Any normal being would have collapsed by now. Bones would break. Organs would fail. Life would end. But Ethan stayed. Alive. Barely. But still there. Then came the sound. A crack. Sharp. Clear. Unmistakable. One of his ribs shifted under his skin. Not breaking. Moving. Sliding into a new place. Another crack followed. Then another. His entire skeleton was changing. Not collapsing. Rebuilding. The aliens froze for a moment, then rushed to record everything. Data streams filled every screen. This was no longer endurance. This was something else. Ethan's body twisted against the table, his spine bending in ways it should not, his shoulders pulling wider, his arms tightening. The restraint screamed under the pressure, metal grinding against metal, still holding, but barely. His skin began to change. At first it looked like shadows, dark lines spreading across his arms, his chest, his neck, but they were not shadows. They were forming patterns, thick, hard, like something growing under the surface. The color deepened, dark gray, almost black, like heated metal cooling into something stronger. The texture shifted. His skin was no longer soft. It hardened, layer by layer. The aliens zoomed in, scanning, trying to understand. The readings made no sense. This was not damage. This was construction. Ethan's fingers moved again, slow at first, then stronger, the tips pressing against the restraints. The metal dented, just slightly, but enough to be seen. One alien stepped back again, this time without thinking, without control. Fear was starting to grow. Ethan's breathing became louder, each inhale pulling air like a storm, each exhale shaking the table. His chest expanded wider than before, his ribs adjusting to something new, something larger. Then came the heartbeat. It was no longer just a sound on a screen. It echoed, deep, heavy, powerful, like a drum inside his body. The entire room could feel it. Every beat sending a small vibration through the floor, through the walls, through them. The aliens looked at each other. This was not possible. No creature should survive this. No body should handle this level of change. One of the scientists spoke, voice low, almost unsure. This is not endurance. This is transformation. The words stayed in the air, heavy, real, because they were true. Ethan was not just surviving the pill. He was becoming something else. His neck muscles tightened, stretching, expanding. His jaw shifted slightly, not breaking, adjusting, making space for something larger. His eyes flickered, still human, but changing. A faint glow starting deep inside, like something waking up, something ancient, something powerful. His back pressed harder against the table, then lifted. For a moment, his entire body rose against the restraints, then slammed back down. The table shook, the machines flickered, the lights dimmed for a second, then came back. The system was struggling, just like them. Ethan's veins darkened further, spreading across his body like burning lines, pulsing with each heartbeat, carrying something new, something stronger. His body temperature kept rising, beyond safe levels, beyond survival. But he did not burn. He did not fail. He endured. That was the difference. Humans endure, even when they should not, even when it breaks them. They hold on, and sometimes, holding on changes everything. The restraints cracked again, this time louder, more visible, a thin line forming across the metal. The aliens saw it, and for the first time, they did not move closer. They moved back, not far, but enough to show doubt. Ethan's breathing slowed for a moment, just one moment. Calm, too calm, like the storm inside him paused, gathering strength, preparing. Then his eyes opened wider, and the glow inside them grew stronger. Not human, not anymore. Something deeper looked out through them, something aware, something alive in a new way. The room felt smaller now, tighter, like it could not contain what was happening. The machines continued to fail, one by one, signals lost, data corrupted, systems confused. Nothing could explain this. Nothing could stop it. Ethan should have died long ago. That was the truth. That was the expected outcome. But he did not. He endured. And because he endured, he changed. And because he changed, something new was being born in that cold room. Something the aliens did not plan. Something they could not control. And deep inside Ethan, whatever was growing, was almost ready to come out. Then it happened. Not slowly, not in pieces. All at once. Ethan's eyes opened, wide, still, focused, but no longer human. A glow burned inside them, deep gold, mixed with something darker, something ancient, something watching. He did not blink. He did not move, but everything about him had changed. The room felt it first. The air grew heavy, hot, hard to breathe. The machines reacted instantly. Warning signals, overload alerts, system failures. The readings disappeared one by one, as if the station itself refused to measure him anymore. The restraints made a sound, low at first, a slow strain, metal under pressure. The aliens turned their attention to his arms. The cuffs were bending, not snapping, not cracking, bending like soft material, like heat was changing them, melting them. Ethan had not even moved yet. His body remained still, but the power inside him was pushing outward, touching everything, changing everything. The metal softened, edges losing shape, surface glowing faint red. The restraints were no longer holding him. They were dissolving. The heat increased. Rapidly, the air shimmered. The walls reflected a faint glow. One of the aliens stepped back. Then another. Then all of them. Not ordered. Not planned. Instinct. For the first time since the experiment began, they felt something they were not designed to feel. Fear. Real. Cold. Unfamiliar. Ethan took a breath. Slow. Deep. The sound filled the entire room, like something massive pulling air into its lungs. His chest expanded, wider than before, larger than human. His muscles shifted under his skin. No longer human shape, no longer human limits. The last piece of restraint slid off his wrist, dropped to the table. Soft, almost silent, Ethan sat up, slowly, controlled. No sudden movement, no wild reaction. Just calm, too calm. His feet touched the ground. The metal floor reacted instantly, heat spreading outward from the contact, faint marks forming where he stood. He rose to full height, and the difference was clear. He was no longer the same being. His body had grown, not just taller, bigger, stronger, every part of him built for power. His skin had changed completely. Dark scales covered him, layered, solid, reflecting the light in sharp lines. They moved slightly with each breath, like armor that lived. His arms were thicker, longer, claws forming at the ends of his fingers. Not rough, not uneven, perfect, designed. His shoulders shifted, bones adjusting one last time. Then came the sound, a deep tearing stretch. Not pain, growth. From his back, something pushed outward, slow at first, then stronger. Two shapes forming beneath the scales, expanding, breaking through. Wings, large, powerful, folding slowly as they formed. Each movement controlled, each detail complete. The room was too small for him now, too weak, too quiet. The aliens could only watch. Frozen, no one moved forward. No one spoke. Ethan lowered his head slightly, then lifted it, looking at them, not like prey, not like an animal, like something that understood everything, their actions, their purpose, their mistake. His glowing eyes moved across the room, stopping on each one, not rushing, not missing anything. He saw the machines, the recordings, the data. He understood it all, without being told, without learning. It was simply there, inside him. His mind was clear, sharp, focused, no confusion, no chaos. This was not a creature lost in transformation. This was control, perfect control. One alien tried to step back further, its movement slow, careful, but Ethan noticed. Of course he noticed. His gaze shifted instantly, locking onto it. The alien froze, completely still. Ethan did not attack. He did not chase. He simply watched. And that was enough, because in that moment, they understood something far worse than violence. He did not need to act. His presence alone was enough. The heat in the room continued to rise, but it was stable now, controlled, like it belonged to him, like he decided how much to release. The melted restraints dripped slowly from the table, no longer solid, no longer useful. The strongest materials in the station, reduced to nothing. Without effort, Ethan took one step forward. The floor trembled, just slightly, but enough to remind them what stood before them. A creature they created, but did not design. A result they did not predict. A power they did not understand. His wings shifted once, stretching slightly, testing space. The air moved with them, heavy, strong. The lights flickered again, struggling to stay on. Ethan looked around one more time, slow, careful, taking everything in. Then his gaze returned to the aliens. And something about that look changed the entire moment, because there was no anger in it, no rage, no madness, only calm, deep, silent, certain. And that calm was worse than anything they expected, because anger can be predicted, rage can be controlled. But calm means decision. Calm means choice. And Ethan had already made his, without saying a word, without moving again. He stood there, a dragon in form, but something more in mind, something sharper, something aware. And the aliens finally understood. The experiment was over. And whatever came next, they had no control over it anymore. The station reacted before anyone could speak. Alarms rose from the walls. Sharp, loud, endless. Red lights replaced the cold white glow. Doors slammed shut across every corridor. Steel barriers dropped from above, sealing sections, trapping movement. The system had one purpose now: contain the threat. Weapons came alive. Hidden panels opened along the walls. Cannons sliding out. Energy cores charging. Every targeting system locked onto one signal. Ethan, the center of everything. The command was simple. Eliminate. The first shot fired without warning. A blast of energy crossed the room. Fast, bright, deadly. It hit Ethan directly. The impact filled the room with light. Heat surged outward. The aliens waited. This was the moment, the expected result. Destruction. But when the light faded, Ethan was still there, standing, unmoved. The blast had touched him, but it had not harmed him. His scales glowed for a second, then cooled, like nothing happened. The weapons fired again, multiple shots this time, from different angles. Stronger, faster, more desperate. Each one hit, each one failed. The energy broke against him, scattered, absorbed, gone. Ethan did not react. He did not roar. He did not attack. He simply looked forward. Then he moved. One step, slow, heavy. The floor beneath him trembled, not from force alone, but from something deeper, something controlled. He took another step, then another, each movement steady, measured, not rushing, not hesitating. The alarms continued. The weapons kept firing. But Ethan walked through it all, like it did not matter. Because it did not. He reached the door, a thick barrier of reinforced metal, sealed tight, locked by the system. It was meant to stop anything. Ethan raised his hand, claws glowing faintly. He did not strike hard. He did not need to. He touched the surface. And the metal changed. Heat spread instantly. The structure weakened, softened, then parted, like it was opening for him. The door collapsed inward. No explosion, no force, just control. Ethan stepped into the corridor. The station shook again, but not wildly, not chaotic, precise. Every movement placed exactly where he wanted. Aliens ran, workers, guards, technicians. They moved away from him, fear guiding them. But Ethan did not follow. He did not look at them. They were not his target. They were not part of his decision. He ignored them completely. That was the first sign. This was not revenge. This was something else. The defense system adjusted, tracking him as he moved. New weapons activated ahead. Stronger ones, built for real threats. The corridor lit up with energy fire, blasts filling the path, blocking the way, trying to stop him. Ethan kept walking. The energy hit him again, and again, each time fading against the scales, each time proving the same thing. They could not stop him. He reached the center of the corridor, then paused. Just for a moment, his head turned slightly, eyes glowing brighter. He was not looking at the walls, not at the weapons. He was looking deeper, into the system, into the structure of the station itself, understanding it, every connection, every command, every control point. He lifted his hand again, not toward the weapons, but toward the air, and something changed. The firing stopped, all at once. No delay, no warning. The weapons powered down, lights dimmed, energy cores shutting off. The system lost control, not destroyed, disabled. The difference mattered, because destruction is chaos. But this was precision. Ethan moved again, faster now, still calm, still focused. He turned into another corridor, then another, each path leading deeper into the station, toward one place, the command center. The leaders were there, the ones who made the decision, the ones who approved the experiment, the ones who gave the pill. They watched everything through screens, their signals rising, their voices sharp, trying to regain control, trying to understand what was happening. But control was already gone. Ethan reached another barrier, stronger than the last. Layer protection, multiple locks. It did not matter. He touched it once, and it opened, just like before. The station felt smaller with every step he took, like it was closing around him, not to trap him, but because it could not hold him anymore. He passed more aliens, some frozen, some hiding, some watching in silence. None of them mattered. None of them were harmed. He did not even slow down, because his purpose was clear. He reached the final corridor, leading directly to the command center, the last line of control, the last place that believed it still had power. The doors there began to close, trying to seal him out. Too late. Ethan stepped forward, and the doors stopped, mid-movement, frozen. Then slowly, they opened, not forced, not broken, given up. Inside, the leaders stood waiting. No weapons left, no defense systems active, only fear, real, visible, unavoidable. Ethan stepped inside. The room fell silent. No alarms, no machines, nothing, just him and them. His eyes moved across each one, recognizing, understanding. They were the cause, the beginning, the reason. But he did not attack. He did not destroy. Instead, the systems behind them shut down one by one. Screens went dark. Controls lost power. Commands erased. Everything they used to control others, gone. In seconds, they stood there, powerless. And that was the moment they understood. This was never about revenge. This was about control. Taking it away. Completely. Because humans do not just survive. They learn. They adapt. And when they are pushed far enough, they do not become wild. They become unstoppable. Not because of strength alone, but because they choose what matters. And Ethan had made his choice. Clear, calm, final. The station no longer belonged to them. It never would again. The room felt smaller than before. Not because of walls. Not because of space. Because of him. Ethan stood at the center. Still, silent, unshaken. The alien leaders faced him. No guards. No weapons. No system to protect them. Everything they trusted was gone. Their power, their control, their certainty, all stripped away in moments. They had studied countless species. They had broken many. They had never stood like this before. Powerless. Ethan's presence filled the room, not with chaos, not with rage, but with something heavier, something final. His wings rested behind him, barely moving, yet holding more strength than anything they had built. His glowing eyes moved slowly across them, one by one. No rush, no mistake. He saw everything. Their fear, their regret, their realization. He understood them completely. And that was what made it worse. Because he was not confused. He was not lost. He knew exactly what they had done, why they had done it, and what it had created. One of the leaders tried to speak. Its voice failed. The words did not come out. Fear held it in place. Ethan took a single step forward. The floor responded with a low vibration. Not damage, just presence. A reminder. He stopped just close enough for them to feel the heat, to feel the weight of what stood before them. But he did not raise his hand. He did not attack. He did not need to. The silence stretched, long, heavy, uncomfortable. Then Ethan spoke. His voice was deep, not loud, but it filled the room. Clear, controlled, unshakable. You wanted to see how much we can endure. The words landed slowly, each one carrying weight. The leaders did not respond. They could not, because they already knew. They had seen it. They had measured it. They had pushed it. And now they were standing inside the result. Ethan's gaze did not change. still calm, still steady. Then he spoke again. We do not break. A small pause. Just enough. Just enough to let the truth settle. Then the final words. We change. The meaning spread through the room, through their minds, through everything they believed before this moment. Because this was not just about one human. This was about all of them. All humans. Every limit they thought existed. Every weakness they believed was real. It was wrong. Completely wrong. Ethan did not move for a moment, letting them understand, letting them feel it. No anger. No need for revenge. Because revenge was small. And what he had become was far beyond small things. He turned slightly, not away in fear, not in hesitation, but in decision. The leaders watched, confused, unsure, expecting something else. Destruction, fire, but it did not come. Ethan began to walk, slow, calm, certain, moving past them, not looking back, not acknowledging them again. Because they were no longer important. They had already lost everything that mattered. Control. He reached the edge of the command room. The systems behind him remained dark, dead without being destroyed. A message left behind, clear and simple. Power can be taken without chaos. The corridor outside was silent. No alarms now, no weapons, only emptiness. The entire station felt different. Like something had changed at its core. Ethan walked through it without resistance. No one tried to stop him. No one dared to move. Every alien that saw him stepped aside. Not forced, not commanded. They simply knew. He reached the outer section of the station, where space waited beyond reinforced walls. The final barrier stood in front of him, strong, thick, built to hold anything inside. Ethan stopped for a moment, looking at it. Then beyond it, as if he could already see what waited outside. Freedom. Something he had lost. Something he now understood in a different way. He raised his hand slowly, placed it against the surface. The metal responded instantly. Heat spread outward, lines forming across the structure, weakening it, opening it, not breaking, changing. Just like him, the barrier parted, revealing the endless dark of space. Stars far away. Silent, unreachable for most, but not for him. Ethan stepped forward. The air shifted around him, pulled toward the opening. His wings moved slightly, stretching for the first time in open space. Large, powerful, alive. He paused at the edge. One last moment, not to look back, but to feel the change, to understand what he had become. No longer human, not in body, not in limits. But something more, something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. Then he moved, one strong motion of his wings, and he left the station behind. The force of it shook the structure, not destroying it, just reminding it. He rose into space, fast, silent, free. The station grew smaller behind him, its lights dim, its systems quiet. Inside, the leaders still stood where he left them. Unmoving, unable to speak, because they now understood something they could never forget. They had not created a weapon. They had not discovered a limit. They had awakened something beyond their control, something beyond their understanding, and it would not stay hidden. Ethan moved through space with ease, like he belonged there, like he was always meant to be there, his form cutting through the darkness, a shadow among stars, a living warning. Not of destruction, but of truth, because the truth was simple, clear, and impossible to ignore. Never test a human's limits, because you may not find the end. You may create something beyond it, something that does not break, something that changes. And once it changes, there is no going back.